Thorpe Park is easily one of the best theme parks here in the UK. The rides are well classed, the lineup is stacked, and when everything goes right it's an absolutely incredible day out. But let's be honest, it can also be one of the most frustrating theme parks if you don't plan properly. Long queues, ride breakdowns, expensive food, and bad timing completely ruin what should be an amazing day. So today I'm breaking down 10 essential tips that will help you get more rides, less stress, and the best possible day at Thorpe Park. These are things I genuinely wish I knew on my first visit, and some of these tips can literally save you hours over the course of the day and help you experience everything you actually came for. Whether this is your first time visiting or your 10th time, this video will help you do Thorpe Park the right way. So let's get right into it. Arriving early is the single most important thing you can do at Thorpe Park, and I don't mean turning up right at opening time or strolling in 5 minutes before the gates open. I mean getting there 30 to 45 minutes before the park officially opens. Thorpe Park usually lets guests through security and into the park early. Even though the rides aren't running yet, this gives you a massive advantage because you can already be standing near your first ride before most people have even entered the park. Those first 60 minutes after the rides open are absolute gold. This is when queues are at their lowest and ride operations are usually at their smoothest. You can easily knock out 2 or even 3 major coasters before queues even properly start forming. Miss that early window and you'll spend the rest of the day playing catch up. I've had days where I've strolled in and rode Stealth, Saw and Colossus all before 11 AM, and other days where I've waited 90 minutes just to get on one of them. The main difference here was the time I got to the park. Before you even walk through the gates, you should already have some kind of idea what your first couple of rides are. Not 10, not your entire day mapped out minute by minute, just your top priorities. Thorpe Park isn't huge, but crowds can move fast, and hesitation kills momentum. The moment you stop in the middle of the park to decide where to go, you've already lost valuable time. Pick your must-do rides, usually things like Saw, Stealth, Hyperia, Colossus or the Swarm, and build your morning around those. Once your priority rides are done, the rest of the day feels less stressful and more relaxed. Also, always have a backup plan. If a ride you're heading to first is delayed or temporarily closed, pivot immediately to your second option. Flexibility is just as important as planning ahead. Let's talk about ride strategy because this is where a lot of people do go wrong. One of the biggest mistakes guests make is starting with smaller rides because they're nearby, or rushing straight to Hyperia without checking anything else. Don't do either of these things blindly. Some of Thorpe Park's biggest coasters are low capacity and extremely high in demand. Once their queues hit an hour, they usually stay there for most of the day. Stealth is a perfect example of this. It can go from walk on to 90 minutes in under an hour. If Stealth is running in the morning, it's often the best first move to go for. Smaller rides and flat rides save them for later. They'll still be there in the afternoon with much shorter queues, while big coasters just get worse as the day goes on. The Thorpe Park app is honestly underrated, and a lot of people either don't use it or don't use it properly. The app gives you live queue times, ride closures, and your location within the park. And if you actually pay attention to it, it can completely change the flow of your day. Check the app every time you finish a ride, look for sudden queue drops, rides that have just reopened, or attractions quietly sitting at 15 to 20 minutes, while everything else is an hour plus. Just remember that queue times can lag slightly, don't treat them as exact numbers, use them to spot patterns and opportunities instead. If you're visiting the park with friends and don't mind being split up, single rider queues are one of the biggest Thorpe Park haps. Rides like Hyperia, Saw the Ride, Samurai and The Walking Dead often use single riders to fill in empty seats. This means you can sometimes cut your wait time in half or even more. Yes, you won't be sitting together, and yes, you'll be separated, but yes, it is absolutely worth your time most of the time. Just agree on a meeting point after the ride and enjoy walking past a massive queue of people. Food queues at Thorpe Park can be brutal, and the food itself is often very overpriced. If you don't plan meals properly, you'll waste time and money. The key here is timing or bringing your own food. Eat early before noon or wait until after 2 PM. Between 12 and 2 is peak lunch rush, and that's when food queues are at their longest. This is actually a great time to stay on rides while everyone else is eating. Ride queues can dip slightly at that time. Grab a snack to keep your energy up, push through the lunch chaos, and eat later when things calm down. Or even better, bring your own food. Eating between rides means you never have to leave an area just to find food, which keeps the momentum going all day. Between roughly 1 PM and 4 PM, Thorpe Park is at its busiest. This is the peak crowd time. This is not the time when you want to be queuing 90 minutes for Stealth or Saw. Instead, focus on indoor rides, higher capacity attractions, water rides or even shows if they are available. These tend to cope better during peak crowds. Alternatively, use this time to rest, eat and recharge, especially if you're planning to stay until park close. Saving your energy now pays off later. You don't need much, but what you bring matters more than you think. The essentials are simple: a portable charger, food and drinks, a spare pair of socks or shoes if you're planning to do the water rides. Comfortable trainers are a must. You'll be walking all day and bad footwear can genuinely ruin your experience. Avoid bringing massive backpacks if you can, as lockers cost money, and nothing kills the vibe faster than lugging around a heavy bag or constantly worrying about where to put it. This is where most people make a huge mistake. They leave early. The final hours before park close is one of the best times of the entire day. Families start heading out, queues shrink, and ride operations often speed up. You can sometimes get multiple rides back to back with very little waiting. If you've paced yourself properly, this is where you can finish strong, re-riding your favourites and finally getting on something you've missed earlier in the day. One mistake I see all the time is people re-riding the same coasters over and over early in the day and realising at 4 PM they've missed half the park. In the morning your goal should be variety, not re-rides. Get as many different rides done as possible while queues are short and opportunities are high. Save the re-rides for the final hours of the day when queues drop and the pressure is off. Thorpe Park rewards patience. If you spread things out properly, you'll end the day having done everything, instead of riding one coaster 3 times and missing out on the rest. So that's how you actually make the most of your day at Thorpe Park. Hit the big rides early, move smart throughout the chaos, and always prioritise variety over re-rides. If you play it right, the final hour is where everything comes together. Shorter queues, one last adrenaline rush, and zero regrets about what you missed. If this helped you and you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more theme park and zoo content, and drop a comment and let me know what your favourite ride is at Thorpe Park. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.